the EV Reality Check space is really about bringing the conversation into a hub here at the show. If you've got questions, we've got answers, and we've also got discussions going with industry leaders that are making the industry happen, especially from here in the Pacific Northwest. And that actually does include me. I'm not from Seattle, sorry. I'm from Portland, but my name is Matt Teske, and I'm the founder and CEO of Chargeway. And I've been in the automotive industry for about 25 years, and recently, we've all been talking about electrification, and well, that's about electric fuel if you're gonna drive your car. So Chargeway is a mobile app you can download to your phone, and it simplifies how EV charging works for any EV you're buying, shopping for, or owning today. Plan road trips. It's like the Sesame Street of charging. We use colors and numbers. It's really fun. So give the app a download. And in every city for Electrify Expo, we always have a partner in crime for me, and that is Dan O'Shea. Dan, how you doing?
I am very happy to be here, co-hosting the Reality Check stage with. I have a Seattle perspective, but I've also worked in EV charging since 2010, around all over the U.S., Canada, and globally. And I just want to acknowledge that Matt is from Portland, the second best city in the Pacific Northwest.
That's nice. Throw me that bone.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
That's great.
And we're happy to talk to Brian today, who's got a fabulous Seattle story, history at Microsoft, high tech, and now doing some really interesting things with electric energy, vehicles, and homes.
Thanks, guys. I'm really excited to be here today.
All right, Brian, okay, so I can do a soft intro. Brian Grunkemeyer, you're the CTO and co-founder of FlexEnergi. How I've known you is it's changed a little bit over the years, so let's kind of hear a little bit about the backstory of how you got into EVs and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I really wanted to make a difference on climate change. And I read a book called The Party's Over, Oil, War, and the Future of Industrial Societies.
That's a fun read.
That's a downer.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Was it a picture book?
Yeah, was it a pop-up that just punched you in the face the whole time?
Basically, yeah. But that motivated me. I joined the Sierra Club, and I wanted to go solve climate change. Then I realized that my local utility, Puget Sound Energy, had a third of a coal plant in Montana. And I'm like,
well, that didn't line up for you.
No, this doesn't quite meet with my vision of a clean Northwest. And
yeah.
So I joined their economists and regulators on a 10-year journey, and we got an agreement to shut down that coal plant.
Okay,
that's a legendary state of Washington sort of regional energy decarb story.
Yes.
Like I've been following that. I've been here a long time. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No, Dan's
absolutely.
local, and so you're on the front lines of making that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it required challenging some assumptions, come back 2 years later, and suddenly their coal plant goes from most cost-effective resource to, let's go settle a lawsuit.
Oh, well, that's a nice switch. Well, the story, the inception for you to be involved in electrification was really about, you look around the beauty of the Pacific Northwest, and you're like, you know what, no, this is important to me.
Yes.
And then you have to apply what your skill set is to make that a life story, essentially. So one was getting coal out the door, but then what happened next?
So I realized that Puget Sound Energy was not ready for all the load coming on from electric cars. Tesla's CTO, he said, by 2020, if we're successful selling Teslas and every car plugs in at the same time, you'll need to turn on 10 nuclear power plants just to go power those cars.
That's fine. We just call Homer Simpson, and he goes, I gotcha, and then we're good, right?
Yeah,
well, the problem is that Mr. Burns is involved, and
yeah. And it's slow, it's expensive, all that stuff. But I'm like, hey, what if we just shifted charging to the best time of day? We can better utilize the grid we've already paid for, and we can actually save people money. It'll actually lower rates if we do that.
So it's all about basically saying, because we don't actively think of as consumers oftentimes, like, how are we using energy? We've been kind of spoiled, but we haven't had to think about it.
Absolutely.
But now it's either A, we have to think about it, or there's technology that does the thinking for us.
Yes. And in the Northwest, we have hydroelectric dams, and that hides so many problems. It makes it really easy to keep the lights on. That's a good thing for us. In other parts of the country, like in Las Vegas, there is a 10x spread in terms of the cost of electricity between charging like right when you get home at night versus charging at 3 a.m.
So it could cost you like $8 to fill up, could cost you 80.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or look at it this way. In Las Vegas, you'll either pay $200 to charge your car or $2,000.
Okay. So thankfully we live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
But balancing the game out. I mean, we've talked about this a lot this weekend about how are we managing how the energy is used. And so at the end of the day, it's really about developing out what your platform was that has kind of evolved in the last year or two.
Yes, absolutely. The original idea was shift load for EVs to off-peak times and optimize around carbon emissions. And we set that up. We got it working. We did that in Australia and across the U.S. and in Ireland.
Well, that's the cool thing, too, is this is a Seattle-born story, but you've been working in this on a global scale.
Yes, absolutely. I never set out to build, just a local software company. Yes, I wanted to sell to my local utility, but that exact same thing should apply around the world.
Well, the problem is universal, and I bet you that you found differing levels of enthusiasm and acceptance between Australia, the U.S., and Ireland. So talk about that, because utilities, yes, they all do the same thing, but they all have different rules, regulations, and requirements.
Yeah, internationally, they are, again, we have very regulated utilities here in North America.
Yes.
But internationally, they have a lot of flexibility for how they can operate.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And so in Australia, the energy costs are through the roof. They are way more expensive than they are here. It's actually forcing people to buy solar. In fact, for the EV drivers we looked at, 70% of them had solar panels on their roof.
Well, and also Australia, again, by nature of where it is, again, it's southern hemisphere, but it's going to get a lot of sun. It's like if you live in Arizona, you should take full advantage. Similarly in Australia.
Yes, absolutely.
The continent of Arizona.
Yeah, well, I meant in comparison to people. God damn.
What?
He missed my
I missed
ACDC
the
joke earlier,
AC/DC joke.
and so he's been trying to make up for it all day.
Totally. Yeah.
He's like, I got him again. No, but to your point, so do you think that we have some, like you were saying, it's like globally there are vast differences for how utilities have to respond. You've had a chance to take your software and platform, work with different utilities. How's that application going to work best here in North America then?
Yeah. So the Australian experience, it shook me all night long. And their pricing's on a highway to hell.
Okay.
Nice. God,
Right.
Brian, we should have had you here all day.
I think you have a new co-host.
I was going to say, forget it. Go
Dude,
ahead.
I'm out of a job.
Yeah, but believe it or not, they're actually very similar to Texas in terms of how all the utilities are structured.
And it's like retail energy in Texas.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's a lot of lessons we learned about how to work with incentives in Australia that translate to other markets. Ireland is similar, but a little bit different.
Just
in
more
curious
potatoes.
ways. Yeah, exactly. No. And the EU, at least for a while, had a mandate around carbon emissions reduction. Australia was interested, but kept waffling back and forth, depending on elections. Not that would ever happen over here.
I was going to say, this sounds kind of familiar.
Yes.
But for all that you've seen, we're talking about things that are, when we say retail energy, that means that you can go shop for your own utility. Whereas, again, here in the United States, oftentimes you just have to buy from where you live.
Yes. We have regulated monopolies here, at least in our state. But, there are other models where you use competition to try to lower costs. And that's one way to help.
And we oftentimes try to do that in the States, but it's not really panning out on the energy side of it.
Oh, yeah.
So this is where what you have developed out is really meant to give some agency to the driver.
Yes,
They
absolutely.
can then be a part of the process.
So we have expanded not just from EVs, but to more devices like air conditioning, smart hot water heaters, home batteries, and we can integrate solar as well. We want to be able to manage all the energy in your home in a way that saves money for you and also helps manage capacity for the utilities. So they keep everyone's rates low.
Yeah, that's actually the main point, is even if you don't participate, these processes will make your rates go down at scale.
Yeah.
And utility rates and electricity rates have done pretty much nothing but gone up for 40 years. And so now we have this opportunity to lower them incrementally by the kind of technology that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's actually going to be as easy as saying yes on your phone once you get set up. And that's what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be, oh my God, now I need to know how my utility works.
Well, it's not about helping people understand how it works. It's making it work for them.
Yes, absolutely. We want to make sure that people sign up, and for the most part, they shouldn't notice that we're doing things. We'll send you notifications to let you know if you want. But by default, you shouldn't need to know. Instead, your car will just be charged up by the next morning. Your air conditioning will continue to run just fine. You won't notice anything on the smart hot water front if we, heat your water a little bit earlier in the day than you would have otherwise. All of this is just smart ways in which we can control energy usage inside the house to minimize costs for you and for everyone else.
So when someone opts in, if for some reason they just decide today, I don't want that, for some reason, how does that impact what they do when they sign up and use your program?
So we will provide some incentive for people to sign up. They'll get some amount of money depending on the utility. Maybe let's call it about $100 a year. And then give us access to your vehicles or your solar panels or your batteries. And then we will just make sure that we charge up your batteries at the right times. For example, 2 days ago, we actually had a demand response event. This is a time when utilities are like, oh, it's really hard to keep the power on. But if we can essentially use people's batteries to reduce the load for someone's house and then even sell power back to the grid during that time, it really helps the utilities by a lot.
So the way to picture this is we've always talked about, okay, we have utility, we've got power lines, we've got power plants, all those things exist. All of that has been feeding into our homes and giving us energy for a long time. What you're describing is basically these itty-bitty tiny versions of where stored energy is, and it's inside of electric vehicle batteries.
Yes.
And it's, again, what's referred to as a virtual power plant because it's the ability to have access to these little energy points that you could then, as a driver, financially benefit from if you decide to say, I will take part in your itty-bitty tiny little power plant.
Yes, absolutely. And so the idea is to create a virtual power plant then for every utility, save money for the drivers, and help the utilities keep the lights on. And as a side effect, we might also happen to reduce carbon emissions.
Interestingly, what I've found over the years is starting with that value proposition turns off half the people.
Yes.
It might even be more than half, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so I've quickly found that talking about how it affects your benefit to you, first you, and then your community, and from a fiscal standpoint, frankly.
Yes, I've run into that same phenomenon. The fascinating thing is the utilities, some of them care about carbon, but not that much. But for everyone buying an EV, 95% of them wanted clean energy to charge their car.
Yep.
And so
we're talking about we're introducing energy as a product in a way that has been, it's very different, right?
Oh, yes.
In the sense that, again, we haven't been actively thinking about it too much. The only energy that we've been actively marketed or been thinking about for the last 50, 100 years is either there's advertising for gasoline or we have to just pay the bill to our utility. Yes. And we're not necessarily looking at what happened. We just look at the price and go, I'm either okay with that or I'm bothered. And so I think all of what we're talking about is it's a new paradigm around if you actually give them just a little bit of insight into how they can save money and then who is giving them that benefit from a branding perspective, that'll change the conversation.
Yes, and this is where, Matt's work at Chargeway has actually been really awesome for educating people about how to plug in your car and where to plug in your car. The first iteration of EVs made this way too complicated with way too many different types of plugs. And they each charge at a different power or at a different speed. And you simplified this by just making it really clear. People care about speed, and we're going to communicate this as a number. Then we're going to talk about plug standards in terms of colors.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, it really is. It takes a lot of what we talk about that's often very complex in our world, and it's just about giving it to somebody and say, look, if you buy the car you fell in love with, let's say it is a brand new Mach-E, or let's say it's a brand new Porsche Macan, or let's say it's a brand new Model S. It's about the choice you make as a consumer, and then saying, we will show you your world in a way that's visual and simple. And I think we're on the right track for that. But like you and I have discussed for years, and so have we, it's just we are getting to a place now where we have to be appreciative about changing that conversation.
Yes. You may remember a mutual friend of ours, Chris Tumpach, had mentioned we should talk about the EV owner journey from the start, from when they start getting interested in EVs and want to figure out how and where to charge, to what happens when you buy the car and where do you learn about all the DC fast chargers out there, to how do you actually manage your charging at home in a cheap way. There really is a need there for an educational component for everyone here.
Well, and again, I think the fun part too is when you're filling up away from home, we can talk about what those options look like, but then we can translate that to, by the way, when you're at home and you plug into your Green 2, that can both power your car or inevitably it can let power come off of your car.
So you just gave me an idea. Like where have we learned about cars and driving? Driver's ed. Driver's ed.
Yes.
So
the guy that gave me my driver's ed class, he literally told me he arrived on a footmobile, and I was like, what the heck? I've never. He's like, dude, I walked here, and I went, oh, what, and you're giving me my driver's lesson?
So my driver's ed teacher told me that he's taught several race car drivers.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And I learned to drive in New York in February on ice. But what I'm trying to say is
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, it was tough. What I'm saying is like so for example, like my daughter learned to drive on a Nissan Leaf. And then at one point, I'm like, well, you're going to go away to college, and your friends are going to have cars. You might have to drive one. I'm going to take you to a gas station and show you how to put gas in a car. Now, how did I learn that? I learned it I went with my parents. They filled up the car. When I got it, I had to figure that out. How hard was it?
You and your daughter had an experience where she's like, I don't know.
I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
This was disgusting. I'm never doing it again. So maybe at the driver's ed level, right? Like now, when she went to driver's ed, she had to drive a gas car.
Well,
right?
There's already so much of a need there, even for gasoline. Like, what the heck is the difference between gasoline octane levels and diesel?
Yep.
That's the exact same problem that Matt has tried to solve and has solved with Chargeway for the EV industry.
Well, and that point is so funny too, because when we did our research, but anybody we met that had a gas car, we'd say, what do you drive? And they would say, what gas do you buy? They would say, regular. Like we don't use vernacular that it's like, oh, we talk about octane levels. In that way, the EV industry should learn from that and say, let's not talk about weird terminology. Let's just say, again, like in Chargeway, it's like you just go to green. You go to red. And if you're to red 7, it's 20 minutes. If you're to red 4, it's 2 hours.
Absolutely. But to pick up on Dan's idea, if driver's ed classes had some mandatory section in there on here's how EVs work, and here's how gasoline cars work.
I think that needs to happen.
I see a new journey in your future. You basically got a coal plant shut down. But now you got to go and change how driver's ed works.
No, you need to change the DMV.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We can't talk about miracles. Come on.
But actually, if you put 2 questions on the driver's ed test about how you charge an electric car, that changes everyone's focus statewide.
Introducing. So this is what Electrify Expo is all about, though. It's a family-oriented event. Again, you look around and you look at the audience, and you got people here that are bringing kids in strollers, and you got teenage kids that are showing up saying, maybe I just got my license. And so the idea is that this is introductory on all those levels. But we have so many brands here that are represented, and often a lot of these brands are still going through what we're talking about. They're having to figure it out on their own too, because they didn't have electrification as part of their initial company.
Yes, absolutely. We may get to a point where the new generation, everyone under 10, it's not clear that they will need a driver's license. And certainly for people under 5.
You're at a car show, man. Tread lightly. Tread lightly.
Well, all right. There's always going to be people who want to have fun and do commercial stuff. But, for a lot of people, autonomous driving is going to kick in. But at the exact same time, will your 10-year-old need to know how to fill up a gasoline car?
We've talked to so many people that talked to us here after panels who have said, look, my kids have never seen a gas car at their house. Their idea of filling up is with electricity. So, that's very true.
And as weird as it is, so many of those kids don't see an electric car versus a gasoline car. They see a Tesla versus everything else.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of those families. That's how it went, and that's what we talked about the branding challenge earlier about some of these companies that have said, okay, we have to figure out how to compete with the Tesla brand and product, but they have a legacy brand equity. We're talking about again Ford and Lexus and others. They've got mechanical engineering prowess that they've proven.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the fact that we are now sitting here with so many brands represented, they're stepping up. They're showing that they know they need to compete.
I am so impressed with the breadth of cars that we've got now in the industry. I actually drive a Lucid Air. And
Well, don't go
it's
bragging.
amazing.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Is it a Sapphire? Like, good Lord.
No, not a Sapphire.
But again,
you
that
know,
is the highest range car you can buy right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a luxury car as well that actually feels like a luxury car. You know, as good as Elon was in terms of being out there first, you know, they never quite really got there on the luxury side.
Their software is second to none. I love their software.
Yes.
But the luxury has components to it, which still includes fit finish
The
materials.
luxury is that it started out at $100,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the luxury.
Yeah, that's true.
Air-conditioned massage seats, right there.
Well,
hands
again,
down.
if you so
That's your requirement.
no, that's what he's going home with.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
air-conditioned
okay.
massage seat. So,
But anyways.
so again, we've talked about it a ton. So for FlexEnergi and what you're working on, it really is. At the end of the day, it's about giving people an understanding of how energy works in their life.
Yes,
Based on the products they buy, which includes electric cars, but it translates to how a home ownership experience works that is electrified.
Yes, absolutely. It will help save you money. It will help your community avoid building out more electrical infrastructure, and it may even help us clean the environment.
Might even save the planet a bit. So I agree with you in the sense we can't always lead with that, but if the fringe benefit is we have cleaner air, again, you said earlier, like, you can see Rainier perfectly today. It's a beautiful
Yes.
day here. And that's the point, is that all these products, the fringe benefit is we are actually doing better for the planet. There is no free lunch when it comes to energy.
Yeah, it's like what if we're wrong about climate change? Well,
Who cares?
We still have a cleaner planet. We have
cleaner
a
planet.
cleaner, greener, less expensive, more equitable place.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So if those who are here today at the show, those who hear this later, how do they find FlexEnergi?
Yes. We may be doing something later this year to help augment any local virtual power plants that are spun up. Not prepared to announce anything yet, but you know, let's keep in touch.
So your website is
What's your
is
website?
what?
It's flexenergy.com with an I instead of a Y.
FlexEnergy with an I
Yeah.
dot
Yes.
com. All
Cool.
right, you can
Yes,
go
yes.
learn about it there.
There you go.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, again, this is the EV Reality Check Space. It's powered by GreenCars.com. If you're shopping for an EV, GreenCars is a great resource. Once you've got that car, make sure to check out FlexEnergi, because if you're a homeowner and you can actually really dive into how you can manage your energy, FlexEnergi is going to be a great resource for that. Looking for that announcement later this year, Brian. Thank you for coming by. Again, for those who can hear our voices, this is the EV Reality Check Space, Electrify Expo Seattle, second day. We're winding things down here at the end of the day. It's been beautiful. Come get your free t-shirt, and if you want to say hi to Brian, he'll be here for a few minutes. Brian, thanks again for coming by.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks a lot, guys.